Let's talk a little good news, right? Obviously, yes, you lose 2 out of 3 to the Guardians, but we learned that 3 Chicago Cubs are All-Stars. 2 of them were no-brainers. I think we were all very sold on the fact that Marcus Stroman and Justin Steele were gonna be All-Stars. I know you talked about it on a show. I think verbatim, if I remember, there's a clip that you said, you know, "I think Justin Steele is gonna be making an appearance in Seattle." It was you or Tyler, or maybe both of you. It might actually been a you and Tyler show, to be honest with you.
Might have been.
And he's going to be in Seattle this summer for the Midsummer Classic, and sure as shit, he made it there. But also Dansby Swanson tagging along for his second career All-Star Game appearance. First, obviously, as a Chicago Cub. So 3 Cubs in the All-Star Game. Joey, thoughts on the trio making the All-Star Game?
Great to see. I mean, Dansby, I'll start there because I was really thinking about this today. They were talking about on the broadcast about how, out of the free agent signings, and we've talked about this throughout the season quite a bit, but how he's stood out amongst that group of the 4 big free agent shortstop signings, and Dansby's lived up to every bit of that contract so far. You'd like to see more power, of course. They even mentioned that too today about how he's hitting the ball on the ground a little bit more than probably he would like to. But glove-wise, WAR-wise, comparatively to other shortstops in the league, when you sign a contract like that, when a lot of the fan base was kind of like, no, that's not the one I want. I want any of the other 3. I don't really want him until he signs. And then everybody's like, well, yeah, Dansby is a good player. And Dansby seems like a nice guy. And Dansby does have a good glove. And Dansby is a very good player. And then yada, yada, yada. And then, but to see him kind of come through here for the Cubs in his first season with the team after signing a contract, to me, not only that, but the amount of games that he has played too, which we knew he's kind of like a, Energizer bunny that way. He's very durable, marathon man, whatever you want to say. He just plays. To me, that's like super impressive, man, the way that he's gone about his business with a new team after a big contract, because it's very easy to kind of collect your money. And that first year, it's hard to settle in with the new team. We're seeing it with some of these other guys. I mean, I know Correa was already with the Twins, but he thought he was going to the Giants. He thought he was going here. He thought he was, the Mets. Like, it was a lot different with him too. But so I really just love what I see from Dansby, and for him to make the All-Star game, I think totally deserving. Thought maybe Nico had a shot too. I think you could really still make a big argument there for Nico should be there, but
100%.
Maybe he's like one of those replacement guys. Comes down to it, we'll kind of see on that. I'm hoping for that for him. But Steele and Stroman, man, no other duo in a rotation out of any team this year has a lower ERA between Stroman and Steele. I mean, they pretty much alternate who's the league leader in ERA right now. So, and Steele just kind of surpassed him because of Stroman's last, kind of clunker, if you want to call it that. He just had some trouble there towards the end. But dude, super cool to see Justin Steele get that All-Star game. I just, it really is, not just because, friend of the program, we've had him on here, we've talked to him. He jokes around, pizza and wings and beer, Cubs on tap after dark, that sort of thing. Like, he just seems like one of the guys, but is a homegrown talent. We haven't seen that for a while in the Cubs uniform. That fire that he gives you, it's just dominant, man. When he's locked in, he is just dominant. It's different. When he's locked in. When Stroh's locked in, like, you're getting a ton of weak contact, and he can pitch all game. When Steele's locked in, you might not hit him, and you might not make contact. So, but again, I mean, just really happy for all 3 of those guys. I think it goes to show you something, like you said, a team that's under 500 gives you 3 All-Stars and could give you 4, really, if you break it down that way. That says something for the talent that is on this team, even though despite the record and all that.
100%. And I think quickly, starting with the point about Nico leads the Cubs in a multitude of offensive categories. Like, Nico is arguably the Cubs' best offensive player in totality for this team. I would say the only guy that probably out measures him in any of those offense categories is a guy like Morel in terms of like home runs, right? Because of the home run numbers and things like that. But Nico leads the team in RBI. Nico leads the team in average. Nico leads the team in terms of what he does, just getting on base. Like Nico is Nico. Like he's been that good, and I absolutely do agree with you. I think there's an argument for him to be an all-star, even if it is via in a replacement at this point. But man, he's been so good for the Cubs, and just a guy that I think we have yelled from the rooftops about this time and time again. Just a guy that is severely underappreciated amongst the major league community. I think nationally for what he does with the glove in defensively in the out in the infield as well as at the plate, delivering in the clutch, having the high batting average, driving in runs, at least this season, especially driving in runs. You love to see that out of Nico. Hopefully he gets that recognition. But it's good. It is good to see Dansby in the All-Star game because I think, like you said, it justifies the Cubs made the right decision in terms
Mhm.
of which shortstop to pick. They found the guy that fit what they wanted to do as a team philosophy. They found the guy that has delivered the most in terms of what he brings to the position. And he was the one that cost the least too. And he's outperforming, like you said, all the other four major shortstops that were a part of this free agency class this past winter. So again, just great and great for Dansby. It's been a challenging season for him, adjusting to being in Chicago after being with your hometown Braves. Adjusting to really taking on more of a face of the franchise mold, right? Like he was amongst a lot of great talent for a long time in Atlanta. Pre-departure, obviously Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Matt Olson. Then in that second form, you had some of the big name catchers, Spencer Strider's there. A lot of big name talent has gone through that Atlanta Braves organization when Dansby was there. Now he comes to Chicago. He's one of the faces of the franchise. He's expected to help carry this team at times. He's the one of the most, one of the unbonafide leaders of this team because of the nature that he is the long-term guy of this group. You look at everybody else's contracts, not many guys are in terms of longevity as much as Dansby is going forward in terms of at least guarantees in terms of contract and dollars. And then the duo. Stroh's been elite all season long. One of the highest in terms of quality, outings in terms of a starting pitcher, getting the job done. He is crushing it. No, we did not, Scott. It was on him just making the All-Star game, and he
Mhm.
made it. So I don't have to do any dumb shit. Funny enough, my dad actually brought that up today. He's like, Stroh made it. No dumb things. I'm like, I know. It's great.
I'm
It was
so glad that everyone remembers that because I completely forgot until that was
Oh,
just
I
brought
know.
up.
Everybody will keep me accountable, and I respect it and I appreciate it as well. But then I think at the end of the day, I'm happy for Dansby. I'm happy for Stroh, but holy shit, I'm really happy for Justin. I really am, and I think it's something too that this solidifies that now everybody in Major League Baseball knows who Justin Steele is. It
Yeah.
is no longer, oh, of course the Cubs fans are hyping up their guy because they think he's that good. No, no, no. We knew what the fuck we were talking about, people. When last season we were sitting here and calling him one of the best pitchers in baseball, you know, pretty much from July 1 onward or June 1 even onward. You even wrote the article. Justin Steele's an ace. Guess what everybody's calling him right now? Oh, maybe Justin Steele's finally an ace. Yeah, no shit, Dick Tracy. We've been ahead of that shit for a year and a half now.
Yep.
This is just the absolute guarantee that Justin is that dude. And now he's showing it on the national level. You love to see it. Scott says Justin should be the starter. You
I
can
think
honestly make an argument for either one of them.
either
I,
one.
I
Yeah.
think I think it really does come down to one of these two Cubs pitchers. I know Elder had a great year. I don't know if he did or didn't make the All-Star game for the
He did.
Braves.
Yeah. He
Okay.
did.
I don't think he's going to start.
Oh, by the way, you were talking about the Braves, all their talent. I think they sent 8 guys to the All Star game. I saw.
Gross.
That's
That's
fucking
insanity.
like, yeah. That's why you get like underrated in that type of team. Like it's just,
Facts.
they just pump these guys out of there. I'm with
Just
you though. Like
yeah.
Steele, I would like it to be Steele though because for what you mentioned about him being kind of like needing that national spotlight for people to kind of realize now, like, oh, he is that damn good.
Mhm.
Because people, I was telling people this in the off season, just talking about how good I think Justin Steele is and going to be this upcoming season, and people were rolling their eyes just in
Oh
normal
yeah.
conversations, like walking around talking, not like Twitter, whatever, all that stuff that we do on a normal basis, which now we're getting limited to, by the way. But the hot topic of the last couple days too. Um,
100%.
but which is bullshit too, by the way. But yeah, people were rolling their eyes at the fact that we thought he could be this ace, and he's been pitching like an ace, and it's like, you know what? That's why I think Nico, he deserves to make it too. He needs the same type of national spotlight that now Justin Steele is going to get from this All Star appearance and potentially starting in the All Star game, because not enough people really realize the quality player that he is. Like, you almost have to be, when you're that type of player, you have to be hitting like Luis
Mhm.
Arraez from the Marlins, just batting average, or close to 400. You're flirting with 400. Like, you
Right.
have to be that type of level for people to even pay attention to you, unless you're hitting a bunch of home runs.
Mhm.
Nico's not that guy, so I would love that kind of credit. Not to completely shift back to Nico, because we were talking about the starting pitchers, but like, I kind of feel the same about Steele and Nico, in like the
Mhm.
same light of, those guys deserve it, and they've been producing and performing, and like, it's just so good to see. Like, all right, well, at least we got Steele in there, and you're gonna know his name.
Yeah. 100%. And again, there's a world where even these are the first two out of in terms of every pitcher getting an inning. You could make the argument that these are the first two out that they throw out there. One of them starts and one of them takes the second. I mean, it really could be,
That'd be
that
cool.
that kind of outing for the Cubs, which would obviously be super awesome.